Everyone online will tell you the same thing. Quit your job, go all in, bet on yourself. I didn't. In this video, we will talk about 4 shifts that changed how I see my 9 to 5. Not tips, not hacks, but 4 actual perspective changes that made me stop resenting the thing that's been quietly funding everything I'm building. Here's the thing about the quit your job crowd. They're not lying. We just never see the ones who quit and didn't make it. We only get the highlight reel after the edit is already done. And in your 30s, that reel hits differently because you're not 22 anymore. You're not building from zero overhead and infinite margin. You've got rent, maybe a partner, maybe something that looks like a life you've already built that you're not entirely willing to blow up on a feeling. I spent a long time thinking that made me less serious, less committed. Like I'd missed my window and just hadn't admitted it yet. But here's what I didn't realize. There's a real difference between courage and impulse. Throwing everything away to prove I was serious didn't feel brave anymore. It felt reactive. It felt like performing commitment instead of actually building something. So I didn't quit. And I found 4 shifts that made that decision feel less like giving up and more like the actual plan. First, I stopped measuring progress by speed. I'm too old for that. You know what I mean. For a long time, my internal measure of success was one question. How fast can I replace my income? Every video, every upload, I was running a mental calculation. Not, is this getting better, but is this happening fast enough? You know that calculation. You've run it. How many subscribers at this rate? How long before the numbers make sense? What's the math? And that question is exhausting because the answer is almost always no. The timeline in your head is always shorter than the one you're actually living. So I changed the question. Instead of how fast, I started asking, am I getting better? Better at editing? Better at writing? Better at saying the things I actually mean? And that's shift 1. Just ask yourself a different question. 2. I stopped chasing the idea of going viral. Shift 2 hit me harder because this one was about ego. Nobody tells you that optimizing for the algorithm feels exactly like performing for an audience you don't actually like. I was making content decisions based on what might get picked up. Trending sounds, trending formats, trending everything. And I knew what I was doing. I just kept doing it anyways. The irony is, the more I optimized for reach, the less the content sounded like me. So I stopped. I started optimizing for craft instead, consistency instead. And here's what the 9 to 5 actually gave me: a time limit. When you only have 2 hours, you stop wasting them on things that don't matter. The constraint becomes a filter. It sharpens what you actually want to make. The algorithm is a byproduct of making something worth watching. It's not the point. And that's true for you. The constraint was never the enemy. If you're a creative in your 30s and finding any of this helpful, like and subscribe. We're building differently here. 3. I separated my income from my identity. This took me the longest because it meant admitting something I didn't want to admit. There's a story we tell ourselves about what it means to still have a day job. Maybe yours sounds like, I'd be further along if I could just do this full time. Or real creators don't need a safety net, something like that. Like the job is evidence of something, like it means you're not really doing the thing. But here's what I finally realized. My 9 to 5 wasn't holding me back. It was quietly supporting everything I was building, paying for the camera, the software, the time I needed to make something slow and careful and actually mine. This is not a split identity, it's a phased one. The shame I was carrying about the day job was never really about the job. It was about the gap between where I was and where I thought I should be by now. External wins don't silence internal noise, but changing the story you tell about where you're at, that does something. The story was never about the job. Let that sink in. 4. I gave myself a longer timeline. This one is the hardest. Every creator you admire who seems like they showed up overnight, they didn't. We just found them after the highlight reel was already edited. They were building slowly before the moment we even noticed them. I used to think I was behind, that the window had closed, that if it hadn't happened yet, maybe it wasn't going to. But behind assumes there is a finish line. There isn't. The race we think we're running, it's imaginary. There is no behind. There's only your timing. I'm not building a sprint. I'm building a body of work, and a body of work takes time. That's not a consolation prize. That's actually the point. So here's where I landed. The 4 shifts did not make things easier. They made them clearer. I stopped racing a clock that wasn't real. I stopped making content for an imaginary audience. I stopped treating my income like evidence against me. And I stopped pretending that speed and seriousness are the same thing. You don't need to quit your job to start changing your life. You just need to make room for the part of you that needs to feel alive. And if that build has to happen during your lunch breaks, the 6 p.m. hours, the Tuesday nights, that's not a compromise. That's the shape your creative life actually takes right now. Differently doesn't mean wrong. It just means intentional. If you're building something on the side too, tell me what you're building in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Stick around, and I'll see you in the next one.